Hey everyone, Roy Shepard here, and today we're going to talk about the gray man concept. The gray man concept is very simple: how to become the man in the background. In any situation, in any event, the men in the background get less attention and thus have more time to prepare, more time to be ready, and more time to analyze the situation and carry out their plan. That's where we want to be. We want to be in any event, in any situation. We want to be able to carry out our plans, to be ready for anything without anything disturbing us. In this series, we're going to talk about all the different aspects of how to become a gray man. We'll go into detail very soon. During my service in the IDF Special Forces, we had many missions behind enemy lines. Many times we went into the Gaza Strip, into the dangerous areas where known terrorist groups or any operations would need to be taken. And we had to dress up the same as the local population to become the gray man. We changed our clothes, we used makeup, we changed our hair, we grew beards. Many times we learned and spoke the native language just to become invisible. Once everyone was in position, once we were all ready, we would get the go-ahead, go into action, take out our weapons or whatever it is that we needed to do, carry out the mission as quickly and efficiently as possible, and then run into an alley, change our clothes, change into regular civilian local clothes, and go into a local van, usually a different one than the one that we came in with, and escape the area in a normal, very slow manner, as if we're part of the local population. This is part of the concept of becoming gray men. We use this many times successfully, and luckily, because of all the preparation, all the pre-work or all the intelligence work and surveillance and so on, we were extremely ready for the situation, for any contingency. We took out many missions and everyone returned safely back home, and it was very well done operations. Many of us get ready for an apocalypse. Many of us get ready for the end of days, end of civilization, things like that. But the thing is that we have to remember that most of us are living very comfortably in the US or in Western Europe, where everything is very modern, very advanced. But we forget that most of the places on Earth are not like that. Most third world countries, like many Arab nations, many warring nations like Syria and the like, are constantly battling with apocalypse situations right now. In Syria right now, people are getting shot in the street. The place is bombed to hell, and there is basically no law, no governing force, and we can learn a lot of the of how to survive in situations from this type of events. When we were in the Gaza Strip, for example, the Gaza Strip is every day basically. In the Gaza Strip, every day is an apocalypse situation. What we call the end of days, they basically call Wednesday. And we need to remember and to learn from those places how we can survive in lawless situations, how we can become the gray man, not to attract attention, not to get the spotlight on us in any way possible. And that is the main thing that we're going to learn in this series of the gray man concept. Okay, so there are several questions that we need to ask ourselves, and the first thing is, who is this gray man? Who is this person? Is he the one that wears all gray clothes? Is he what is this? Who is this person? So basically, the idea of the gray man, the idea of becoming the gray man, is not to wear gray specifically, but to wear and to become the man in the background, to become someone who does not attract attention in any way, in both his appearance, his behavior, and also his mental attitude. Becoming the guy in the background gives us the opportunity to execute our plan. And what is our plan? Let's say there is a active shooter scenario, a scenario in which someone is attacking, like a terrorist, randomly the people around, or shooting someone, or stabbing, or maybe threatening to blow up an explosive vest or something on those likes. We call that an active shooter scenario. In this type of situation, we need to remember that these people are basically mostly trained. They had some sort of a training, they had some sort of preparation work to do before going into this, carrying out this their mission, let's say. So what they would basically do is look for priority targets. And what we, as being prepared, don't want to be is a priority target. So what is this priority targets? First of all, soldiers or policemen with uniform and weapons, and then after that, after the official authority or authoritarian figures with uniforms, there are those people who either carry a weapon or think that they can do a difference, the hero complex type people that jump into action before thinking about it. Those would be the second priority targets. And later on, after all those priority targets are taken care of or neutralized, then we have all the rest of the people, or all the innocent civilians, so to speak. And that's where we want to be. We want to be as part of the civilians, and more as part of the background people, as people who are not noticed. If you go around with, I don't know, camouflage shirts, hat with your favorite shooting range logos, gun logos, or anything like that, basically, or maybe a mole bag or some sort of militarized or soldier-like appearance, you would basically telegraph your ability, even if you don't have that ability specifically, even if you don't have weapons or you're not actually a threat, you would telegraph that you are a threat to someone who is in an active shooter, someone who is the active shooter, basically in those type of scenarios. We also, in the professional areas, we also call these clothes shoot me first clothes, shoot me first bag, shoot me first shirt, or shoot me first pants. And we generally want to avoid that. So we want to become this gray man and to execute our plan, as we said before, either to escape the area, and we'll dedicate our thinking which covers we can use to exit the active shooter arena, or to neutralize the target if we are capable to do that, if there is a way to do that, go and flank the active shooter somewhere behind them, preferably, and then get close enough to neutralize them with the tools that we have. We're not going to go into a frontal fight. That would be not so smart, especially if you don't have the odds to do so. If you don't have number superiority, we don't want to go into that. We have to surveil our environment also if we can use the environment in our benefit. For example, shooting a gas tank or something that can attract attention behind or away from you can be some sort of a distraction, so you can attract their attention for a little while, and that time will be viable for you to get closer and either neutralize or get farther and escape the active shooter arena. So basically, the gray man is the guy in the background, the guy who can actually have the time to execute their plan from start to finish. So we understand why it is important to become the gray man, so we can get this extra time, extra seconds, or even minutes, so we can execute our plan. But how do we actually do that? How do we go on and become this gray man, the guy in the background. So the three questions that we have to ask ourselves is, do we have to change our look? Do we have to change our appearance? Or do we have to change our behavior? Maybe our behavior needs to be changed. And the third question would be, do we have to change our mindset? Do we have to change how we think, how we see, and how we plan things? And the answer for all of those is actually yes. In this Grayman series, we're actually going to be going into each question as a separate episode and talk about how to appear like the Grayman, what to wear, what type of clothes or archetype clothes or types of clothes that we can use to become the Grayman, how to behave, what part of our behavior attracts more attention, how can we attract less attention by acting a little bit differently, and thirdly, what kind of mindset should we have to become the Grayman? How can we get the correct mindset so once we are on the street, once we are getting into some sort of an event, we are already prepared in our mind to act according to what we're supposed to do as the Grayman. So we talked about the Grayman. We had a little bit of introduction. If you have any comments or questions, I'd love to hear from you. You can leave them right here below or contact us on our many ways to contact from Facebook, Pinterest, or any other way to contact us. I'd love to hear from you. In this series, we're gonna go talk about each one of those questions that we mentioned before. We're gonna have a full episode on appearance, how to look like the Grayman, how to look like the guy in the background. We're gonna have another episode about the behavior, how to act and behave like the man in the background. And lastly, we're gonna have another episode for the Grayman mindset, how to think like the man in the background. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Until then, stay safe.